go check this out. My mulberry is starting to lose all its leaves. My truck's still back here because it's full of soil from when I went down to the worm farm. But anyway, you can see me back up here and I can kind of give you an idea how the garden is looking. I've added these 3 beds here, and I believe those 2 since the last time I did a video. My goal is to eventually have an arbor here. I will fence the whole thing eventually, but it's not in the cards this year. So anyway, this bed over here is filled with broccoli. It had some tomatoes. Of course, when we had that frost last week, they kind of went away. It had zinnias and cosmos that I had planted from seed. Over here, there's still some artichokes in here. I believe there's 3 of them. There was a Roma tomato that got zapped. And then this was a butternut squash. In this bed here, I planted a whole bunch of garlic, and in the middle there's a little bit of kale, and I think there's a little bit of Swiss chard. These I've had for a while. All my herbs, they seem to come back every season. They struggle a little bit in the summer, and they love the fall and the winter here. My potatoes got zapped, but I still think they're gonna be okay. I got beets over here, carrots, sunflowers that were blooming that died. And this bed here is filled with, I believe it is, what is it marked? Parsley, spinach, which you can see the spinach is coming up, and a Merlot lettuce, which you can see those are popping. All my parsley. Over here is radishes, and then some green onions. There's the girls. Then in this bed over here, I have filled it, I believe, with golden beets, carrots, green onions, and then over here I have some green leaf lettuce and arugula. I just planted just probably like 5 days ago, so it hasn't really popped yet. Over here I have a ton of carrots, and of course they're all covered. They've all popped up because of the dang birds. That is my worm bed from when I went to the Arizona worm farm the other day and got a bunch of worms. So I divided them half between this bed and that bed over there. And then this is my basil, which you can tell it got zapped the other day. I still have a serrano and a jalapeno and a poblano that is hanging on. But what I did do is I planted a cabbage, and I believe these are cauliflower here to kind of take their place when I pull and cut these down. This bed over here is full of strawberries and asparagus, which is funny because the asparagus is already starting to pop, and I really didn't think that that would start popping until the spring, but I guess we've had spring-like temperatures. Here's my worm bed. I probably need to check this in a few days and see if the food that I gave them is all gone. There's not much in this bed. I pulled everything out or cut it off the stem and kind of buried it. This was a yellow pear tomato, and there's still some tomatoes in there. I'm not sure if how good they are, because if they got zapped and they'll be kind of soggy, I'll give them to the chickens. And then over here, this was all Brussels sprouts, but you can see the quail did a number on them, so I've covered them up. They still look like they're going to survive, so let's hope so. And then I'm not sure if I did this already, but there's the broccoli. So kind of that's the gist of my garden. Eventually it will be fenced, and then I'm going to put another wooden bed right here, even with that one, because I have another arch that I'm going to put on there, and that should kind of finish all my beds. And then I'll do an arbor here, and then eventually it'll get fenced.